Oh man, last time on the Brothers Normal.
Not only am I not just one person, but I'm not even the first thought between us. And I'm tired of you calling me an asshole. I'm not an asshole!
Your face is starting to look like an asshole with all those tears coming out of it.
You better stop, man.
What's that, asshole?
I'm getting real close, brother.
To drinking yourself to sleep. Every time you do that, I'm fucked up for a week.
I'm getting so close. One more thing might just do it, my friend.
The morning brought the sun in its primly lain design and cut through Norman's sleep, who awoke to the voluminous rays of day. His eyes touched the ticking clock, and his body sank ever deeper into the pressured layers of sadness. The clock then broke. Norman's dream had brought him to the bathroom mirror, where he could see himself as he did on occasion brushing his teeth in a minimal sway of apathy. Several inches below, Chester relished in the cool morning tones. With his eyes closed and the sounds of some far calling, Chester gave himself to the morning. His mouthwash sounded a grand swell of rumbling horses and low singing men. Chester spits, and Norman slips further into the place unknown. With every inhale comes a gentle dive into heavy liquid. Chester was then seized by the dust of the world and gave a terrible sneeze. Norman was lost instantly. There was a moment when Norman closed his eyes. He opens them to see an open door. He closes them again. He opens to painted lines on the city street. He closes them again. He doesn't come back. Norman opens his eyes and dreamily looks from the crosswalk on his left to the crosswalk on his right. He sees heads shaking on sticks with chins that drill oil on the floors of grey deserts. The cool air kept these people alive. Norman was broken. The crosswalk signal turns from the mother's hand to the singular white little man of leisure. Norman was told to walk. His indignation gave him way. He looks down to his brother, Chester. He looks to those on the street around him. He looks again. Then there was an exhale so slight the gods would have missed it. Norman moves his hands to Chester's face and covers his nose and mouth, preventing a breath. And Chester, annoyed at his brother's invidious tactics, took no notice of the jeopardy faced. Then Chester realized he had not taken a breath. Norman held him, slowly locking his hands further into place. Chester screamed from the whites of his eyes to no notice. Norman applied more pressure. The succession of bodies moved about the pair as unassuming ghosts. Chester's face turned a crippling pink and bleeded upwards to an unforgiving hand.
Hey, buddy, you gonna go ahead and walk or what?
Walk around me.
Say, you got pain or something?
What? No.
Okay, just checking, friend.
Norman began to feel the softening touch of his brother's struggle as he closed in tighter. There was life, and then there was less. It slipped down into an unseen basement of the mind. The sudden drop in the endless question. The sudden pull into darkness. Chester's face gave out and became lifeless. He was truly dead. Norman knew it had all passed. His life, his anger. He levitated. Until...
Hey! He just killed that guy!
What?
Right there! That one there! He just killed that guy!
Huh? No, I don't know what you're talking about!
An opportune stranger steps forward and lays the point of contention by a haunted gesture.
Look right there! That's a dead guy!
No! It's not true!
Someone call the police!
No! No! No!
Norman pushes his way through the swell of stone faces and breaks out into the open street on a frozen sprint. His body motioned, but through ends of anxiety-driven snow. The chase in a dream.
Hey, asshole! You killed that guy, asshole! I saw your face!
Norman steps away, but the voices followed. They followed on into the dark night of his future self. The witness, the chase. Norman finds a dark corner and rests. He looks down for the first time at his dead brother. He thanked God for the cold day, for he had a jacket to cover his painful deed. He closed it, blocking the world from the last glances of the lost. The world closes in. Norman, after strict assurance of time, left his small corner to find another. He took to a phone booth nearby and calls the only person who might understand.
Hello?
Dr. Ambrosio. Dr. Ambrosio. I did it, man. I killed him.
Norman?
I did it. I wasn't thinking.
Whoa, hold on, Norman. What's wrong?
The doctor rests casually on his living room sofa. His dead brother's skeleton sits off his left hip.
I killed him.
Who did you kill, Norman?
I killed my brother.
You killed Chester?
Yes, I killed Chester.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Okay. Where are you, Norman?
I don't know. I'm in a phone booth in the city.
Okay, Norman, come to my house.
No, I'm not going to your house. I needed your help.
Norman, tell me exactly what happened.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. I don't know. I lost control and he was dead. You were supposed to help me with this.
What do you want me to do?
I needed your help and you didn't ever help me. You were too focused on Chester and he ruined my life and now he's dead.
Norman, how did you do it?
It doesn't matter and stop saying my name.
Norm, I need you to go to my office.
You're going to turn me in.
We're going to talk about that together. I'm not calling anyone.
You're going to turn me in. I know you. You never wanted to help me.
I'm going to help you, my son.
No, you won't. I gotta go.
Norman, don't go.
I gotta go!
Thank you for calling 911. What is your emergency?
Some lunatic killed his brother.
Meanwhile, in hell, Chester finds himself overwhelmed with his sudden weight against the floor, and for the first time he lifts his head to look down at a body unfamiliar and aching with pleasure. His limbs stretch into sudden awareness. The devil speaks.
Welcome, Chester Normal, to never-ending damnation.
I have my own body? I have my own body!
And your legs work too. Stand on your feet.
A levity from the world of no other gave rise to Chester, and he found himself on top of a body for the first time. Not only did his kinetic self stand upright with legs and ligaments combined, but a sense of understanding braced itself into orientation and gave power to the engine body.
Whoa, I've never stood before! Oh, it's better than I dreamed!
Remember it well.
The fallen angel, Satan, claps power from his oak-laden hands and delivers a stream of hell's lustreless light. Chester falls at its immediate contact into an old wheelchair, waiting from beyond. Paralysis became him.
This isn't a walkathon, Chester. Enjoy your new life.
No! No!
Meanwhile on Earth, Norman's disillusionment found him walking down a forgotten street in a forgotten time. He passes by Remington's store of spite and catches his reflection carved against the inane pottery display containing melted candy. Chester's dead features shone through a half-zipped coat and into the world of pointed fingers. Norman closes his jacket to hide his terrible crimes and spots a light pulsing from the tavern across the street. He took to it, feeling the day in his tired feet. Norman sits at the bar with his collar choked against the skin of his neck, blocking the world from the questions beneath. His eyes fixed to the wood shone a shaken soul rattling its way into the warm atmosphere. To his right, a television speaks of murder and a citywide search.
A suspect, Norman Normal, is on the loose. Some say a ruthless young man who may be armed. It was claimed that Norman Normal murdered his brother on the corner of All Things Holy and Maria Drive. It was quite the scene.
Below, across the way, stands the bartender, sewing an open gash on his forearm and keeping his eyes on the hanging television. He drank mercilessly to confound his wound. His glance turns to Norman, the darkened figure against the room, and back to the television. After some consideration, our bartender approaches young Norman with ease.
How you doing?
I'm fine.
Want another one?
Yeah. Thanks.
The bartender inspects Norman closer as he leans in. Oh, I must pose for more wood to stoke the fire. It will be just a moment. Oh, good. This will do for the remainder of our time. For the slow burn of wood brings a mindering sense of timelessness, does it not? Now, where were we? The bartender inspects Norman closer as he leans in to seize the empty glass. He gives a sniff. Once satisfied of his research, the man behind the bar refills the glass with a steady pour.
Want a story with that?
No.
Well, I'm gonna tell you one anyway. And the drink will be on the house. And Listen. Listen to me. I was in the Vietnam War. Right there in the shit, you see? And you couldn't imagine what we seen out there. I mean, I seen dead children brushed beneath the burning forest. Really, that ain't a joke. I've seen all the goddamn sins against God. Some of those you live with and grow accustomed to. But what you couldn't get used to with actual firefights. Because you can't run back from where you came because they already gotten behind you. You just have to go forward into the fire. Men screamed when they shot their guns, not out of anger, but I think out of fear that they would never hear themselves again. A man living in fear day after day breathes a different kind of life. One where some found God and some lost her. My biggest fear was coming. It was coming across another tunnel. We would getting down in those tunnels is the first step down to hell, or at least you'd believe it. Once you were in, they'd send us in alone. Many, like with just a pistol. Just one pistol, they'd send us down like by ourselves, not knowing how many men were down there or where it even ended. Men would come down through and you couldn't miss. You couldn't miss at all because the space was so fucking tight. One time I shot a man, the small one, and on his way down, he fired off and hit me in the fucking shoulder. It was like a force so hard you couldn't know. I just laid there looking up at the dirt above me thinking I was at least buried already. My parents would appreciate that. Something came over me though, and I got up and stumbled my way forward. More came at me, but one after another. I put him down. You kill a man down there and have to crawl over him. And after a while, after you killed 3 or 4 and you pressed yourself past them and you finally reach the exit and you come across a different person. You got different senses on you now.
Why are you telling me this?
'Cause I smelled death, son! When I was laying there in that tunnel, I smelled death on myself. And I smelled death on you.
Norman jumps to his feet but freezes under the sudden guidance of a pointed weapon.
Now you hold it right there or I'm gonna blow a hole right through your chest.
What are you going to do to me?
I'm gonna turn you in.
I haven't done anything.
Unzip your jacket, then partner, let me see what you're hiding. You go blood on you?
No!
Hey! Open your jacket! I know you're hiding blood or shit or something.
After a moment's hesitation, Norman's hands began to move themselves to open the modern shroud, and with the light came the faded image of Chester's dead face.
What the hell is that?
It's nothing. It's something I have on me.
You wait right there.
The veteran dials quickly for the town's finest as Norman spins ideas.
Thank you for calling 911. What's your emergency?
I'm calling to Clinton. Hey!
Norman makes a sudden move towards the door when a warning shot gives freeze.
I said don't move! Hello? I need the police to come to the Tomato Tavern at the end of the street. I know you're a man on the run. He isn't going anywhere. I got a gun.
In the blur of this waking nightmare, Norman began his descent into the belly of the Iron Machine. His first acquaintance wastes no time.
What'd they get you for?
I killed my brother.
You killed your brother? Man, that's cold.
I didn't mean to.
I don't even know why the fuck I'm up in this place, man. These cab drivers are being paid by the police or something. I don't know what happened, man. Cabs are supposed to take you home, not to the police.
Norman sank into the dark corners of his vision. His eyes gave images of dreams and nothing else. Nothing after nothing let reality into the deepest part of his hollowed body. No food or water. No sounds or comfort. Deafness and loneliness pushed out from his tempered ears. His skull wished to crack, and the days went by. Until...
Normal, you have a visitor.
Norman was brought only to a shame as he was confronted with the picture of his mother through eviscerated glass. She awaits with a look of curiosity and the nature of patience. Mother Normal speaks.
So, what happened, Norman?
I don't know, Mom.
You don't know?
I really don't.
Take me back to how it happened.
We were standing in the bathroom, and the next thing I know, I'm on the street, and he was dead.
Can I see him?
Norman slowly lifts his appointed clothing to reveal the fading dead Chester. His complexion wavered in the colorless passage of time. Mother Normal set her eyes to the sun and breathed a sigh of understanding.
Okay, put him away.
Norman lowers his top.
I'm sorry, Mom.
To be honest, we expected it to happen a lot sooner.
Really?
Yes, you are such a little fox, and you grew up into such a handsome young man that I just couldn't imagine the burden you must have felt.
Can you forgive me?
I wouldn't be your mother if I couldn't.
Thanks, Mom.
Of course, honey. And I know we gave Chester a lot of attention. We loved you both equally. But you should know, you were my first son.
All rise.
Norman opens his eyes and stands before the court. He scans the room as his stomach lurched for a new prison body to betray. On the jury, selfishly and without mercy, sat Martin, the man with two bodies. His second body proved a brute study in a space meant for one less set of peculiars. He smiles a winning white from Satan himself. The judge enters.
Normal? All right, get ready for a death sentence, everyone. The members of this jury have found Normal guilty and sentenced to death. Does it say how you want it? I'll figure it out. Someone get Virginia in here to mash my pancakes together.
I ain't gonna eat them if not by the fist, and I told her that. Somewhere along the way, you all figured I'd stop noticing whether or not you followed through with my directions. I see everything!